where can I find a cheap camp mat that's actually good?
Hi guys, I'm Samantha and this is Lone Crow Adventures, the channel where we talk about all things camping, hiking, and backpacking. Today I wanted to take the time to introduce you to the brand new redesign on the TREKOLOGY ALUFT UL80 sleep pad. This thing is going to be exciting. So this is the TREKOLOGY ALUFT UL80 sleep pad. TREKOLOGY contacted me a few weeks ago asking me to do a video review on their brand new redesign of their best selling backpacking mat. And I said, sure, I'd love to do that. I have tried out this mat a few times, and of course we had a pretty mild November and December. I've tried this out a couple times in some mild conditions and it worked really well. And of course, when I go to actually film the video review, it turns really cold and it's like 9 degrees outside. So before we go further, I know you see that there's snow in the shots behind me. This is not a 4-season mat. This is classified as a 3-season mat. It has an R value of 2.5, and I used this in the mid to low 50s during my testing on a couple different occasions, and it performed really well at those temperatures with a 20-degree down sleeping bag as the sleep system. So keep that in mind as we move forward through the rest of the video. So I thought we could go through a few specs on the mat before we actually get it set up. This mat comes in with a weight of 19 ounces and it comes in with a price tag of only $35. The weight is actually really reasonable, and there are mats on the market that come with a weight that is a few ounces lighter than this, but not in this price range. You'll be paying at least $85 to $100 more to shave off 3 to 4 ounces off your mat weight. So if you're brand new to backpacking and looking for some quality gear, or you're looking to upgrade your current mat, this is a good option that really straddles the line between affordability and weight really well. The mat comes in this convenient little stuff sack, and it comes in with a pack size of 7.3 inches by 4.7 inches. So it's definitely taken up a small footprint in your pack. So we'll get ready to blow up the TREKOLOGY mat. It is pretty easy to blow up. I find it can be done anywhere between about 40 and 50 breaths, maybe a little bit more in these temperatures because it's cold, and as the air cools down as it leaves my lungs and enters the mat, it's going to lose a little bit of volume. We'll take a look at the valve system. There are 2 different valves. This is the inflation valve, which is the first valve that you open. And this will fit a variety of standard sized pumps on the market. The deflation valve is the valve that's underneath, and that's going to allow the air to escape. And what I've noticed about this valve during the inflation is that it's pretty easy to inflate by mouth. And I've also noticed that it doesn't leak during the night, which is something that's really important. There's nothing worse than blowing up a mat and having it go flat partway through the night. I would recommend that you purchase a pump sack, because this way you're going to be inflating your mat with temperature air that's the same on the inside of the mat as on the outside, so you're not going to get those temperature differentials, especially if you're camping in a little bit cooler temperatures. The air coming out of your lungs is hot and moist. It's going to add moisture to the inside of the mat, and it's also going to be warm. And if there's a temperature difference between the warm air on the inside of the mat and the air on the outside of the mat, you're going to lose air volume as that air cools down over time. So just be conscientious of that when you use any kind of inflatable mat. We have the TREKOLOGY ALUFT UL80 fully inflated, and now I'll tell you about the dimensions on the mat. It is 75.2 inches long, 22.4 inches wide, and 3.9 inches thick. You'll notice that it also does feature a curved baffle design, so the edges of the mat come up very slightly, and that helps to keep you centered in the mat and to keep you from rolling off the edge are bottoming out when you position yourself close to the edge. Really, really adds comfort. The material on the exterior of the mat is a 40D water resistant nylon, and this mat has been pretty darn durable so far in my field testing. The baffling system on this mat is excellent. It limits air movement in the mat when you're changing positions in the middle of the night, and really helps to keep that warm air underneath of you. All right, so I wanted to show you guys what I look like on this mat, just so that you can get a little bit more size perspective. I'm 5'2", so I am a little bit on the smaller size. I have about a medium frame, but my arms don't fall off. And the nice thing about the curved design is that my arms can kind of lay on the side and they kind of hang off the edge a little bit, but the curved design kind of just butterflies my elbows up a little bit to prevent them from hanging out on the ground, which is typically what happens with a lot of other mats. When I transition to a side-lying position, the same kind of thing happens. My arm hangs off, but because it angles up, my arm kind of hangs out in space instead of other mats where it would just kind of fall and then my hand would be on the ground. In order for my hand to actually touch the ground, I have to force it with my muscles. So when I'm just naturally sleeping, it just kind of hangs out like this. And that's comfortable for me. Even if I migrate in the middle of the night and I kind of get myself close to the edge, I find that that curved design, my hips and the back half of my shoulder blade are hanging off the edge of this mat, but that curved design is pushing me forward, so I'm not falling off the edge of my mat. It's actually pushing me this way, and if I were to kind of let my body go and let my muscles go loose, it would kind of push me right back into the center this way. So for anyone who's had a harder time sleeping on a smaller, narrower air mattress, this curved design might be a good option for you. Now, if I had to rate the TREKOLOGY ALUFT UL80 mat on a 5-point scale, I would give this mat 4.5 out of 5 crows. It performed amazingly well in my field test. The air stayed inside the mat, the valves held well. It was easy to inflate by mouth. It was easy to roll up and pack up and get back into its original stuff sack. And it was super comfortable. This is going to be my new backpacking mat, and I'm going to be using this air mat for spring, summertime, and maybe some early fall backpacking. I wish that TREKOLOGY made an insulated version of this mat, because if they did, I would definitely use this as a wintertime mat, but because the R value is only 2.5, I have to look at an insulated version for winter. So if you're listening, TREKOLOGY, consider making an insulated version of this mat, because this is really top-notch quality. The only problem I had with this mat, and it was hard to tell in the video here because I'm filming on top of the snow, but this is a fairly noisy mat. So when you're laying on the mat and you're repositioning, it's kind of crackly and crinkly, and it did make some noise. I know there are a lot of you guys out there that don't want a noisy mat, so if that is a big priority for you, definitely consider a different alternative, because this is fairly noisy. Again, it was hard to tell because I was filming on top of ice-crusted snow, but that was the only problem I was able to find with this mat. The quality was great, the comfort was superior, and it fits into my pack nicely with the rest of my gear. 4.5 out of 5 crows. Thanks for taking time to check out the video. While you're here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and since you're still hanging around, you may as well check out a few of my other videos. Until next time, folks, we'll see you on the trail.